Hi and welcome to tonight's episode of Q Weekly here on Ben TV Channel 31. My name's Jayson Grool. Thanks so much for watching us. On tonight's show we've got three fantastic interviews. One with our very own Brett and Momentum, which is a gay support group. The Rainbow Band's coming on a little bit later on. And then Scratch and Surface, which is a play reading that we're going to look at later on in the show. And of course our very own Q calendar with the gorgeous Elizabeth Blast. Now let's cross to Brett and have a look at the interview with Momentum.
Thanks. Now with me I have Asbin from the VAC. Hi.
Hi everyone.
Now I believe you're actually involved in some workshops for the gay community. Can you tell us about those?
Okay. My role at the Victorian Arts Council here, I'm a peer educator officer. Basically, that's most of my job revolved around running workshop for gay men. I'm actually responsible for 4 different types of workshops. Momentum is being one of them.
Okay. Momentum is an interesting name. How did that come about?
It used to be, a workshop used to be called Gay Now, and I think in the late mid-90s it has been changed to Momentum in order to reflect a little bit more update, I suppose, in terms of how men changed and moved forward. It as a momentum of, I suppose, machine or something to just actually move forward, go forward, that sort of thing.
What are the workshops all about?
Okay, the Momentum workshop actually looking at the target at gay men 26 years old plus, basically looking at those who just in the process of looking at their sexuality, coming out process, or those who are new to, I think, to the idea of being a gay person, or who are gay men but have been, I suppose, out of touch with with other gay men, want to come back with in touch with the, I suppose, gay men community once again.
Right. Okay. Now the workshop, is that run by trained counsellors, or are you the only counsellor there?
Okay, the workshop actually run by trained volunteers, those guys who've done Momentum themselves in the past and they want to give back to the community, so they went through the a training, a 12 weeks course that they actually run once a year, just about to happen this month actually. Now the workshops, there are 4 or 5 components of the workshop there, which we are actually looking at. We're looking at the coming out experience of the gay men. We get the men to talk about what are their experience around coming out, could be good and not being so good stuff, how people manage the good stuff or not so good stuff, and how people share and support each other within that process. Okay. And within that, I think we're also looking at the what make ourselves feeling good about of being a gay person, looking at internalized homophobic and how to manage the negative part of, you know, that negative feelings, or sometimes we have heard from other people, especially, you know, the homophobic comments from other people, which sometimes if it being repeated itself from so many sources out there, and we tend to, you know, look at ourselves in a negative way, and we're also looking at how can we deal with that sort of comments or feeling bad about ourselves.
Right. Why do you think these sort of workshops are important for the community?
For the men, I think it's 2 things for them, well, more than 2 things, I think, to look at, I think, their self-identity, who are they, and what do they want after that, and then how to find a place for themselves, a place to belong. I think that's really good and really important stuff for the men to feel that, I think, all human, I think, in Maslow hierarchy, right, it actually talk about a place to belong for people, and the men themselves need to find that within themselves, which is their identity, and externally in terms of community, friends, and network of friendships and things like that they actually make. And the other good thing for that is we're also looking at the sexual health part of the men. It's really important to being a gay man and be able to, you know how to look after themselves sexually. And you know, we all know, I think, that what is safe sex, putting on a condom is, you know, essential message of what is safe sex. It's not that simple, and not always that men be able to do that for themselves. And I think we're also looking at, in what context and which situation, men do and men don't. Our point is that we provide as much as information as possible for the men, and then for them to make a decision for themselves that suit them. But first and foremost, I think we always reinforce the idea of, if you do having sexual relationship with other men involving anal sex, do use condom.
If there are any people out there wanting to get involved in Momentum, where do they need to go and who can they contact?
All of our workshops are free. That's number one. The Momentum workshop starting next Thursday, the 21st of April, usually run from South Yarra office here, 7 until 10:30 p.m, which is 3.5-hour sessions, 8 to 12 people per workshop, 2 facilitator to basically deliver group activities, group discussions, and basically make sure that everybody in the group have their airtime to be able to express what their feelings and things and thoughts are, and allow people to just mingle. And having said that, the term workshop is quite intense, but people also have lots of opportunity to, I think, hang out, go out for coffee, dinners and things like that. Depends how much energy that the group want to put into it. And some people have, quite energetic, they organize, outing and things like that, which is quite good things, because it's not about learning, it's also making friends, networking with other guys who are in a similar situation as them.
That's good. Thank you very much, and all the best for the workshops. Okay, now it's back to the studio.
Thanks so much for that, Brett. Now, of course, we have a fantastic interview with some people from the Rainbow Band. We have Eric Fackett, I got that right, didn't I?
Absolutely.
Ashley Rees, Sarah Trevorrow, and Chris McIntyre. How are you all?
Good, thanks.
Fine, thank you.
Good. Now, the Rainbow Band's been with us since 1995, is that right?
Correct.
Are any of you originally from the group when it started back in 1995? I'm looking straight at Chris now. How did it come about? Can you give us a little bit of a background?
I was in another band that was waning quite a bit, and I thought, well, seeing as I'm a part of this community, we'd advertise in our own press. So I talked to the band treasurer into giving me some money to put some ads in the MSO and Brother Sister, as they were then.
Yep.
And then I collected a few names of other people, was given other names. We had a meeting and decided to go. Everybody decided, no, blow the other band, let that fail, we'll form our own band. And there we are, and that happened in 1995 in May. Date there.
Years next month. Now, you're very heavily involved with Midsummer, and that's been an ongoing thing, I think, since Midsummer's been around in Melbourne. Is that right as well?
Yes, we play there every single year.
Beautiful, fantastic.
Several performances.
Now, you've also had some massive highlights. In 1997, you went to the US.
That's right.
And had your first CD, is that right?
Yeah, we made a CD. We did a big concert in San Francisco and another one in LA. We were there for 2 weeks.
And what was that like? Was it sort of like I don't know if you call it a band off or some sort of competition or something?
No, it wasn't a competition. We sort of amalgamated with some American musicians. It was, I think I'm right, it was the LGBA conference.
The LGBA conference.
1997, yeah.
Fantastic.
So we had members from their bands play with us as well.
Wow,
But
that would have been amazing over there in the States.
Most of the Americans playing on the CD were from the San Francisco Freedom Band.
Okay. And I suppose that's on a much grander scale over there in the States and that sort of thing.
There are so many more bands.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a band in each city and
Wow.
a couple of bands.
Wow. Now, I also know that you, in 2002, performed at the Gay and Lesbian Games, is that right? Yeah?
Yes, we did.
How was that, with a crowd of like 30,000 plus or something?
That was the biggest party I have ever been to. 9 days of it. It's a pity we had to spend some time playing. We could have spent more time partying.
And there were a lot of changes with the Rainbow Band. In 2003, the musical director that had been with the Rainbow Band for about 8 years, Rich O'Toole, left, and that's where you've come in recently for about 8 months. Is that right, Eric?
I've been with the band now 1.5 years.
And what sort of direction have you taken the band in?
Well, first of all, we had to get the band going again. When I auditioned, I think we had about 10 or 12 people, and now we have 40. So the most important thing for me at the moment is to bring back the fun, make them play well within what they can play comfortably, and establish a solid, good repertoire base on the broad range. which we have done for our concert last year and for the concert that's coming up on the 30th of April.
And we're going to get to that a little bit later, aren't we?
Yes, and then beyond that, we'll see what the people want to do. Maybe we'll do a few themes, different type of concerts. We will have a joint concert in October with a gay and lesbian chorus.
Great.
We hope to go to Mardi Gras again next year. We'll certainly do a concert again next year.
Beautiful.
So,
with you've sort of talked about other gay groups and lesbian groups and that sort of thing. Do you have to be gay or lesbian or G or BTI? I think I've missed one, but part of that community to be in the band?
No. As long as you can read music, you're always welcome. And it's just that everybody is free to be who they want to be.
Oh,
and
great.
that's all that matters. We have
really
straight
good.
people in the band.
That's great. Is there any specific age range or age group that you look for in the
No.
in the
We've
band?
got
I think
people from about sort of 18 to, what, 60 almost?
18 to about 75.
Yeah. Pretty broad.
You've got a few
Very
members then
diverse.
that have been there since the inception.
A few,
Besides
Yes.
Chris.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
there'd be at least there's about half a dozen
Yeah.
still in the band from way back 10 years
Wow,
ago.
that's great. It must be a great sort of group to be with then. If so many people stay for song, it must be a great
Yeah,
atmosphere.
it's a really fun atmosphere. So.
Now, you brought it up before talking about the 30th of April, the 10-year itch, is that right?
Yes.
And what's happening? What can we expect?
A lot of great music. We have everything from a beautiful Porgy and Bess medley to Big Spender to the Pink Panther. And the idea of the concert is, because it's the 10th anniversary of the band, that we really want to feature the band with what they have to offer. We have an exhibition at 7 o'clock. The concert starts at 8. We're having a multimedia presentation, saxophone ensemble.
Wow.
One piece is called Lasso's Trombone, which is basically like a little trombone concerto with band accompaniment. Julie Leader will be singing a couple of songs. She was the first president,
Yep.
am I right? Yeah.
Great.
And it's all really about the band and what the band is capable of doing.
Beautiful. Now, just before we tell everyone where they can get tickets and where they can go to and we wrap it up, who's the biggest person that you've had? Because you also have singers as well, don't you? Who's one of the biggest singers that you've had with the band?
Well, we performed with Rhonda Birchmore.
Oh,
that was
wow.
pretty fun. Judy Connelly, Jane Clifton. We've had some really good gigs.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's great. All right, so it's the 30th of April and the show starts at 7:30 p.m. at the Paran Town Hall.
At 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's probably good to get there at 7:30.
Well, you can get
even
there at
7
7
o'clock.
and have a look at the memorabilia. We'll be having a drink.
Of course, okay, you mentioned that before.
Yeah.
Now, tickets are $25 for 4 and 20 concession, is that right? And everything's through Ticketmaster,
Ticketmaster 7.
Yep.
Lovely. So it's going to be a great show. You're all excited?
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that, guys. Thank you for coming on to
Thank
Bent
you.
TV. And of course, stay with us after the break and we'll be with you in just a moment.
You're watching Bent TV, and honey, we've got it so good.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Q Weekly. Thanks so much for staying with us. Now, let's have a look at the interview with the writer of Scratch the Surface.
Thanks. Now with me I have Grant Scicluna. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Now you've been on Bent TV before. We had a look at you during the midsummer play readings.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
You've also done, well, co-produced the play Falling So Slowly.
That's
It was
right.
pretty successful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
We were very happy with it, with the response. Yeah.
Yeah. You've also produced some short films. One called Fugue.
Fugue.
Fugue. Yes.
It's a funny word.
Yeah. what was that all about?
Fugue was a short film I made when I was a student, which was an experimental film about a guy named Luke who kept falling in love with straight guys. Never learnt his error.
Okay. Yep.
And it was very short. It was like 4 minutes long. And
Yeah. That was in the International Berlin Film Festival, wasn't it?
yeah, it played at Berlin, played at lots of gay and lesbian film festivals around the world too, and yeah, it did really well. Played at Sydney Film Festival in Melbourne and Brisbane, so
Good.
we were happy with that.
Speaking of films, you've written a film script, haven't you, called
Yes.
Scratch the Surface.
Yes, I have.
Tell us about that.
Scratch the Surface is the first feature film script which I've written. It's a psychological thriller which is set on a summer holiday caravan park about 3 teenage boys. James hasn't been back to this caravan park since he was a kid, and he's now 18. And he's been away. He's been in juvenile detention for some crime that must have been pretty serious to be away for so long.
Yeah.
And his mum brings him back here because she says, you'll be happy here, you won't be recognised, you'll be safe. But he is recognised by another boy, Anthony, who was also involved in that crime. And these boys are like nitro and glycerin, like put together, they're dangerous. And a third boy, Adrian, starts to unravel the secrets and gets very much entwined psychologically and sexually between James and Anthony. So,
God, how did you come up with the idea?
Without giving too much of the story away, it's based very loosely on the killing of Jamie Bolger, which is in Liverpool.
Yeah.
Which I kind of followed as a kid. I was the same age as those two boys, and when they were released, I was the same age as them too. And I kind of just thought about what they were going through, and when they were released from detention, and society was so angry and guilt, you know, feeling their own guilt. You know, I wanted to write a script about it.
How long did it take to write the script?
I've actually been working on it for about 18 months. So I'm at second draft now, and I've just put it into Film Victoria, which was selected as one of the 4 new feature writers projects for this year.
Okay.
So that's really good. That gives me a little bit of money to actually write a new draft. And also to work with a script editor. So I'm working with Elise McCready, who wrote and directed Strange Fits of Passion feature film a couple of years ago.
So when you get money to write a script, does that mean you can take a couple of weeks off work and just concentrate on writing the script, or?
It's actually enough money. I mean, I live like an absolute pauper, so it's enough money for me to actually not do anything else for about 5 or 6 months.
Oh, sounds like heaven.
Yeah, so that gives me lots of time to actually really get inside it and, you know, and give it a good go this next draft.
Was writing something you always wanted to do as a small child, or you wanted to be a zookeeper or an accountant or something?
I wanted to be a lot of things, but I always wrote. I was always the student, you know, at the end of the year when we published a collection of short stories, I was always at the end because my short story was like, you know, 30 pages long and everybody else's was a couple of paragraphs. So, you know, it's obviously something I always wanted to do. Yeah. So I've kept... The first script I ever wrote, you know, as a kid was Jurassic Park 2. I sent it to Steven Spielberg too.
Really?
He wasn't interested. But
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Now, the Scratch the Surface is going to be actually a reading of the script.
Yes.
Yep. Now, with that, do you actually stand in front of a group of people and just read it, or is it like a performance, or?
It's going to be rehearsed. So we've got a lineup of actors. They'll be reading from the script, but they'll be prepared, and so there will be a couple of rehearsals in the lead up. So it will very much be a kind of informal affair, but it will be performed. And so hopefully it'll come to life in front of the audience's eyes, but there's also a narrator who's reading what's called the big print in the script, so describing where the action is taking place and any other actions that the actors can't actually perform themselves.
Okay. What sort of time frame do you think you might have between this draft and the actual time you start production?
I think I'm 2 drafts away. Like this draft is pretty strong. The story's pretty strong, but there's a lot of work I need to do, which is why I'm doing the reading on the actual characters and on focusing what the characters are feeling in every moment of the film. And so I'm working on this next draft by the end of the year. And then I hope to do a polish early next year, and that's when I'll start to show it to producers and actors and try to get it made. Probably looking anywhere between 2 and 7 years between actually getting it started, but you just don't know because it's such a volatile industry.
Exactly, yeah. Have you had any sort of writer's blocks or anything like that where you think, I don't think I can continue with this?
It happens. It happens. Not on this necessarily, but I've got other feature projects which I get really, really consumed by, and you know, it's all I want to do is just write and write and write, and all of a sudden I just hit a brick wall. But at that point, you just put it aside and you just pick something else up and start working on that. You just got to always keep writing. That's the only thing. I write every day.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now, with the Scratch the Surface film script reading, you've got ACME behind you, ACMI, and also Cinema Europa?
Well, actually, it's through an organisation called Screenplay. That organisation every month takes unproduced film scripts and has them read in this sort of forum. And it's all part of a development process for the writers, so to hear the words actually come out of an actor's mouth and have it done in front of an audience who can provide feedback for the writer to actually take to a next draft. So Screenplay selected my script to be read, and it will be read at ACME, and Cinema Europa is one of the sponsors. Yeah,
well, everyone's looking forward to it. All the best with it. It is going to be read at Federation Square, 2nd of May at 7:30. Now, for bookings, we do need bookings, don't we?
Well, I mean, they say bookings is essential. I mean, you don't want anyone to miss out.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
you know.
If you do want to book, the number is 8663 2583 and seats are limited. All the best for it, Grant.
Thanks a lot, Brett.
Okay.
Thanks so much for that, Brett. That interview looked absolutely fantastic. Now, let's cross to the gorgeous Elizabeth Blast to see what's happening with Q Calendar.
Loving the hair, Jace. Loving it.
Very Ken?
Very Ken, very spunky.
Yeah, thank you.
I love that. Yeah,
Feedback at bentv.org.au. How's that?
Compliments, bring them in. Yeah. Right, this is Q Calendar. This is what's happening around Melbourne, around about now or thereabouts. Okay, Links Incorporated. Now, have you ever been on a car rally, Jace?
I have. For the
they
Australian
fun?
Kidney Foundation. It was lots of fun.
Yeah, my ride to the local supermarket sometimes is a bit of a car rally. Sunday the 29th of May, the Links Incorporated are having a car rally and you meet at 10 a.m. at Amaroo House. And that's Amaroo Street, Chadstone, down out of Chatty. And it's $10 per car load. And you can call Wendy on 0427 631 803 if you'd like to go on a car rally.
Is that around the car park?
You just go up and down the car park. Yeah, that's right. I think this is really important. There's a Private Lives survey. Have you heard of this?
No.
It's the biggest online gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender and intersex people's health and wellbeing survey. And all this information is being collated, hopefully, to sort of establish new health sort of care policies and stuff in the future. I think it's really important. The more people who log on to www.privatelivesurvey.com.au, the more people we can gather information from, or they can gather information from, the better the survey will be. So there you go, Private Lives Survey, privatelives.com.au, be a part of that. No, we don't mean to overstate it, but Thrill Me, the Leopold and Loeb story is only for 2 more nights. Monday night tonight, only goes to Wednesday night. Catch it, it's supposed to be great. Theatre Works in Kilda, bookings 9534 3388.
My friend actually went to that. She won the tickets that we had not so long ago. She thought it was fantastic.
Yeah?
Absolutely fantastic.
Well,
she
there you
loved
go.
it. Yeah.
That's reason enough to go. Pride March Victoria are having a general meeting, and I reckon that'd be great to go along and see what they've got in store. 6:30, 4th of May, at Heaven at 151 Commercial Road, South Yarra. Info pridemarch.com.au. And Pride March out and proud for 10 years. 10 years. We celebrated it last year, didn't we?
I think so.
Thing?
I think so.
But anyway, they're having a general meeting so you can be involved in all the proceedings that go along with doing the Pride March thing. Seahorse Victoria are turning 30.
Wow.
Happy birthday, but not until the 11th of June. This is a bit far ahead, but you can understand. We're needing members to help celebrate. So I think it's $30 a head, discount for Seahorse members. And of course, that's the transgender group, www.seahorse.com.au if you'd like to book your ticket or help out. I'm guessing they're wanting some people to put up streamers and cut up some cake, something, hand out some nibblies.
Or play with hippocampus.
Really wish you would. You can email me at feedback@bentv.org.au because Jayson, you never know, they just might be watching.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Spunky. Fantastic,
You're
fantastic.
Spunky. That.
Thanks so much for that, Lizzie, and fantastic look at what's on in Melbourne. Now, viewers, don't forget to be watching us on Thursday nights at 10:30 for Face to Face. On a personal note, big happy birthday to Rob, and good luck, Stevie, while you're overseas. All the best, and we'll see you again very shortly here on Bent TV.